Okay, this is Coach Williams, and we are going to look at the practice for 5.1. I'm just going to give you a little primer, a little boost in getting some of these problems going, just to kind of get your memory jogged and help you get a refresher on what you're supposed to be doing on each one of these problems. On the first two, you're just plugging in the ordered pair into both equations to see if they will be true, and if both of them check out to be true, then it is a solution to the system of equations there. You'll put a 3 in for x, put a 4 in for y, and 3 plus 4 does equal 7, so 7 equals 7. The first one checks off. We know that one's going to be true. You'll do the same for the second equation. Check 3 and 4 in place of x and y. See if it does equal it, and then we'll determine whether it is or isn't a solution to the system. You'll put a yes if it is and a no if it's not. Remember on number 2 here, this is a negative x. So when you plug in a negative 5, it's a negative 5. Just make sure you don't get caught by the negative out in front of the x there. So that's what you'll do on number 1 and 2. Number 3 and 4, you're going to look at the graphs. And the first one's going to be pretty clear. You're going to notice where they cross. You're going to put that coordinate down. You're going to test it just like we did in 1 and 2. Test that coordinate, make sure that it makes both of those true, so that you can determine if that is in fact the solution to the system. Number 4 is going to be a little tricky. The two lines are very close together. It's hard to tell where they cross. Try to use the grid lines to help you there to determine where they should cross. Once you find it, I want you to check it. Make sure that it's correct. If it's not correct, maybe your guesstimation or your assumption was slightly off, so move the point around a little bit to see if you can figure out where it's supposed to be. All right, and again, once you find the ordered pair, plug that into your equations to see if it makes both of them true before you move on. Number 5 and 6, you're going to solve the system of linear equations by graphing. So you're going to put one graph here, graph both of these on the same graph. Graph both of these equations in number 5 on the same graph. See where the lines cross. Check the ordered pair. Make sure it makes both of them true. You should be able to do this pretty easy because you've already got this in slope-intercept form. So you should be able to pull the slope, you should be able to pull the y-intercept out of both of those equations and graph them pretty easily. Same thing on number 6. It's a fraction. Don't panic. That just simply means you're going 1 over 3. You're moving positive direction, up 1 over 3 for your slope on this first one. Then the second one's just negative 2 over 3. And graph both of these equations, linear equations, on the same graph. And see where the lines cross. Check the ordered pair. Make sure it is the solution to both equations, thus the solution to the system. On the back, this next part here is going to be a calculator problem. So you're going to need to get these into the y equals mx plus b format so that you can put those into the calculator. Now the first one, I'll work this here. We'll separate it here. I'm going to do the first one on the left. The first one, we're going to just move this 0.2x to the other side. And when we do that, it just changes the sign, or we minus 0.2x from both sides. So then that's going to leave us with 0.2y equals negative 0.2x plus 2. Alright, then we're going to have to divide both sides by negative 0.2, divide by negative 0.2, divide by negative 0.2. We're going to divide everything by negative 0.2. That will obviously make these go away. So y is going to equal, this one will also go away. So it just leaves me with a positive x. This one is going to be a negative 10 when I put it in the calculator. 2 divided by negative 0.2 gives me a negative 10. Okay, that's the first equation. The second one, I'm going to move this over here. It just changes the sign. So my second equation, I'm going to start it out with that first step done. I'm going to have 0.6. 0.6y is going to equal negative 0.9x plus 6. Okay? And then I'm going to divide by 0.6. Okay? So then that's going to go away. It's going to leave me with a y. When I put negative 0.9 divided by 0.6 in the calculator, I'm going to get negative 1.5. x. When I put 6 divided by 0.6 in the calculator, I'm going to get plus 10. So these are my two equations that I'm going to put into the calculator to solve and find out what the solution to the system is going to be. So in my calculator, I'm going to do this here so we can see it on the calculator. In my calculator, I'm going to put in to y equals, okay, y equals, I'm going to put in, on the first one, x minus 10. X minus 10. Then I'm going to hit enter because that's the first equation. The second equation, I'm going to put in a negative 1.5x plus 10 and hit enter. That gives me both of my equations in y equals. Then I can look at the graph if I want to by hitting the graph button, and it's going to show me the two graphs intersecting somewhere down here, 7 or 8 looks like, and then it's going to be a negative 1, 2, or 3, somewhere in that area. But I can find it exactly by going to second graph, which takes me to the table. If you'll notice, what I'm going to look for is where this equation and that equation have the same y value for one of my x values. So I'm going to arrow down. I don't see it yet. We thought it was going to be around 7. It's not 7, but look at 8. 8 is both a negative 2 and a negative 2. So that means that at that point, 8, negative 2 is a solution for both equations. So I can put on here 8, negative 2 will be my solution to this set, or solution to this system of equations. I'm going to do the same thing on number 8 by just solving for y, put them both in the calculator, check my table, and find where that solution is for both equations or to the system of equations. Number 9, we're going to do it's a word problem. I'm going to let you work on that one. And then number 10, I'll kind of get you set up on that just so you get the equations at least. On number 10, you're going to look at finding the linear equation that represents the area y of the rectangle. You're going to have 2 of them. And then you're going to solve for this system of linear equations by graphing. So you're going to have to graph this when you get done. Y is the area. What is area? Area is length times width. So I'm going to have 4 times x plus 1 for this area of this rectangle. On this one, it's going to be y equals 3 times 2x minus 2. And then I'll leave you with that because you can solve what you can distribute your 4 in, you can distribute your 3 in, and then you can pull your slope and your y-intercept from both of these, put them on a graph, on the same graph where the lines cross. You're going to get that coordinate, that ordered pair, and check it, make sure it is a solution to the system. Okay, I hope this helps out, get you started on the practice. This practice is due today.